Battles them out first. She got one. I said it was.
Call the meeting to order. Regular board meeting at the record, January 25th, 9:30 a.m. First order of business, the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Stand. Dearest Lord, you enlighten our board as we review and discuss our agenda. Help us to make the proper decisions. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Catherine D'Angelo. Here. Sid Blackfelder.
Here.
Darryl Wyckoff.
Here.
Debbie Gasquet. Here. James. Nikki James. Lily Jane Johnson. Here. Marvin King.
Here.
Joseph Sara.
Here.
Rob Sheehan. And Mark Silverman.
Here.
Ivory Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, very good. Now visitors.
We have Dr. Twig, but I hardly call him a visitor.
Concerned citizens.
Concerned citizens. Regular.
Regular, okay. Are you going to make any comment today?
He's already made comments.
Okay. Is there any employee recognition?
There is.
Oh,
I'm going to let Doug introduce his new staff, but first of all, I just want to start off by saying that I totally put these guys on the spot with service committee and in finance committee. We've at least preliminarily got some really good numbers coming on paratransit. We've totally rethought the way we're doing scheduling, and I know Doug and his staff are working really hard to continue that trend. So, but why don't you go ahead and introduce our new staff member?
I would like to introduce to the board the newest member of the Customer Service Department. Her name is Sheena Chandler, and she's working along with paratransit. And she was hopefully going to be in that department, so I'm working with her hand in hand, trying to ensure that trying to overhaul this paratransit department and get things back on track where it should be. So I'll give you no other than Miss Sheena. She's a little shy.
Hey, welcome to.
What's your name again?
I didn't hear you.
It's actually Di Sheena.
It's called Sheena for short.
Sheena, yes.
Well, welcome. I hope you have a great time here. And
Stole
a
from
great
Conway Hospital, Mississippi.
Pardon me?
Stole from the hospital.
She's in the
Good.
process of learning her way around town. She's from out of town. Although you've lived, how long have you lived here?
13 years.
13 years.
I did not know that. So maybe she should, speed up that process. And but then also learning route match, and I think the big challenge over there is sort of instilling a little human understanding of schedules and routing and travel times and things like that into our paratransit scheduling, and then the other part of it is matching up labor to the schedule. I think we've had in the past a lot of drivers kind of sitting around, which they don't like either. So we're trying to minimize that, minimize split shifts, and we should hopefully start seeing some improvements in the stats. So thanks both of you for stepping up. Appreciate it. Pressure's on.
Well, we're recognizing Sheena, and I welcome you, and I hope you have a long stay here. But I want to recognize Doug, too. Doug, these buses are really running on time, and I know that's not just Doug, it's the whole team, Brian and Lynette and maintenance and whatnot. But I think Doug's on top of that one, and it's doing great. You're doing a great job.
Appreciate it, Mr. Silver.
And Sheena, where are you from 13 years ago?
Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Oh, good.
Marvin's from Brooklyn, right here. Yeah, right here.
Very good.
I hear they have decent transit up there.
Yes.
And they kind of call us Brooklyn, and they don't have the south.
Not yet, not yet.
No, we haven't even gotten there yet?
We're getting there, we're
We
getting
will get
there.
there, we will get there.
Knowing Brian, we will get there. Okay, next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
You have a second? Any discussion on the minutes?
One comment, Mr. Mustafa, we only list the surname, everybody else that list has a family name or a Mr. It's out there.
His name is Abdullah Mustafa. He goes by, he just goes by Mustafa. I don't
You don't have
know.
a Mr. or anything?
Well, he's Mr. Mustafa.
I think,
Abdullah
I just looked
Mustafa
at that
is
and
his
jumped
name.
out, and everybody else had a first name or, I
Yeah.
just think, just small point, but just out of respect.
Yeah.
If someone reads that, I think his first name should be there.
I can certainly admit it.
Okay. If there's no discussion, we'll have a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against, say nay. There being none, the resolution is approved. Thank you. Okay, we move right along. Then we have approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Okay, and we'll have a reading of them, the grant applications.
Yeah, I don't
We
think we
don't
need
need to read anything.
On consent, we just,
So don't need
if
to read.
if no one wants to pull anything out, then vote and we'll send them around for signature.
Okay. There being no discussion, a voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All against, nay? There being none, the resolutions have passed. Thank you. All right, and go into,
Yeah, I'm not sure if our visitor is here yet. That's gonna be in executive session, so why don't we go down the agenda a little bit and so
Okay.
he arrives,
all right, that'll be
and then you
fine.
wanna go. check
I'm gonna
around,
let
see
you
if he's
know
here.
when,
Yeah, I have Erica looking out for him and
He's probably looking for a
might be.
Seriously?
So if he had to park over at the county building, he's flipping it over here, so.
okay, all right.
So we can go on to service. tax,
Service
if you like.
Act Committee report?
I don't know, Ms. Lily Jean, if you wanted to say anything, I wasn't gonna go through everything that we talked about. I put the slides that I presented at Service Committee that just sort of take a glance at where we were comparing 2016 to 2015. And the bottom line is, the ridership's up 16%, just comparing those 2 months. I was also looked at some stats that show that, at least on paper, going to 8 p.m. is doing some of the things that we thought it would do in terms of helping the midday. You know, you can make, a trip from, or do a work shift from 11 to 7 or something like that. So, you can look at those slides, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I have a couple of questions about the transfer center in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
How about, is there going to be an opening, a soft opening, grand opening? If we have dates,
Our-
have a ceremony or anything like that?
Our intent is to soft open it, to open it up as soon as possible, as soon as this weekend even. We have all the furniture in there, we have it all wired up. We've given it one cleaning, we probably need to give it a couple of others. Myrtle Beach still has a couple of things they need to do in there. The biggest thing, and probably won't open until this happens, it's supposed to happen today, and that is putting a glass enclosure on the CSR piece. So once that goes in, then we probably can open it. So
Do we have plans to,
I've been in touch with the city. We're looking at second week of February probably to do a dedication, but we're gonna hopefully here by the end of the week have a date and start sending out invitations and such. Trying to get on the mayor's calendar. We'd like him to be there and then all of you obviously. So.
we have plans to notify the press and the paper and, the public kind of thing?
Well, and yes, and also having a customer appreciation day that day where we'll do hot dogs and stuff out there in the parking lot and, you know, let folks,
I'll
Check
be
out
out
the
of
grounds.
town,
No, we can't be out of town on the opening day.
I'll be out of town from the 14th to the 17th.
okay, good to know.
Yeah, we have to do
Because
So
you
you
need,
say you
you,
wanna
you
do
are,
it.
you are required attendance.
That's right. You wanted me to say something. So
Yes, I
that's
did.
why I mentioned it. I'll be out of town.
Appreciate it. It's not changeable?
Huh?
You can't change it?
No.
Brian,
We'll
you
work,
said
Yeah,
we will work around it.
My
Brian,
flight
you said-
never-
it's been cleaned. One of the resolutions, they talk about a max of 35,000 for a contract. Have we got a contract? I'm just curious, how much is it going rate for a contract?
Well, we originally estimated at 27, so I gave myself a little bit of room.
Good.
But we put out an RFP that did not get a response, or IFP, excuse me, invitation for bid, that did not get a response because we had a $50,000 bonding thing in there. So we took that out. We required professional liability and naming us additionally insured, and those bids are due in.
Will it be less
a
than
week.
30,000, your guess?
I would hope so.
Okay.
I'd hope so. If it could, and the reason, the 35 number is based on a number that I think if we exceeded, then it'd be better for us just to do it in-house.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to do it out of house just to have someone over at the beach, not having to truck staff, people over there. But, you know, it's also a really good DBE opportunity, so we're trying to marshal that out the door, so we'll see how it goes. But it's back on the street, the IFP's back on the street with the different provisions, and hopefully we'll elicit some bids.
Are you gonna have like a person in charge over there, like a manager of the whole thing kind of thing, or?
Well, it'll be whomever the supervisor is on duty. We have we got Ted and Al and Casper will be the primary.
Ted would work the mid shift and Casper Allison would close.
They're all good people.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we'll be parking a bus over there during operating hours as a spare. Even a yellow bus parked in there behind the building.
Are there gonna be two people there?
Yeah, there will be two people staffing it. Now, obviously, there might be a few instances where there's one where because someone's out on a road call or something, but you know, we'll shuffle people around if we have to.
That system that you have where the CSR goes out and loads the bus while the driver takes a little break, it saves a lot of time.
Yes.
So yeah, that's exactly, you know, what those folks will be
That's a
doing.
good idea.
Yeah.
That's been working.
Yeah, I went by there the other day and I saw people sleeping on the benches. And I thought they had a,
We used to have-
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Those green benches that you see outside are exactly what we have inside right now. Because the benches that we ordered, which do have the armrests that you can't lay down on them, are on back order. So they're coming late March, early April
But these
timeframe.
outside were, they had things in between.
Yeah, I
They were
thought
put
they
down.
had.
What
Some
happened?
did,
Yeah,
some
one
didn't,
time.
yeah.
If you get tired enough.
no matter what.
It's
You
right.
think they pull, you think they pull them off?
I think it's possible to pull them off if you have a plier or a wrench it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they had something in between too.
They did
One
when we
didn't.
first
Yeah.
opened that.
There used to be one, I know there was always one that didn't, and I'm not sure which one the city removed. I know they moved the middle one, but I don't know what that
Yeah,
was.
they've moved to the one as you're facing our new building to the left because it was a straighter shot for the wheelchair ramp in there. So we've got two, I was originally keeping two shelters out there. But we'll relocate that one somewhere else.
And how about that signboard that's in one of them? Is that gonna stay outside?
That's gonna move to the one that's remaining. But yeah, we'll have, when we're closed, we'll have information about, you
Yeah.
know, start times and routing in
Yeah.
there.
Good.
So, you know, all of we've worked it out with city police on monitoring video. We've given them our feed. We have a panic button that will be installed.
Oh, that's good.
So, you know, we're really we're holding off on some of the other potential security issues like vending and, you know, things like that. Let's just see how things go for a while. We do have a little bit of graffiti on the porch. It's a little disappointing.
Already?
Well, that's gonna be the maintenance ongoing.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's going pretty well, and I think we should be opening up any day now.
So
Brian, do we have on file a list of DDs?
Yeah, we use the stakes list. We get it every week, updated every week. Every Friday we get a list. So, we'll hopefully get some good DD. We're requiring 20% DDE participation on the bus stop designation program. So we're trying to set it up so that maybe we can increase our goal, which is pretty pathetic.
Can I do a little aside here? I'm not talking about DBE. So the DBE people are here monitoring or evaluating whatever they're doing. And what are they looking for? Why can't we just give them a number and then they...
Oh, I see. Well, they're checking our reporting. We have to report every 6 months how we're doing on DBEs. They are checking on how our goal is calculated. They're checking on our annual calculation on whether or not we met the goal.
What's our goal now?
1%.
And who's doing that? RTA is doing it?
Well, it's FTA consultants, yeah. So Kevin's been kind of taking care of it. I haven't really.
I've been working with them a little bit. 1%, just for general knowledge, is between 15 and 20,000 a year, roughly.
And are we meeting it?
We're meeting it, but we're meeting it haphazardly. We need to meet it on a structure.
We're meeting it by our contractors, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, we're just kind of, going through the list, and okay, it's a DB that, we need to be a little more proactive and get that, the vendors identified up front of what types of products we're going to purchase up front. That bus stop is part of that plan where, we will set aside a certain percentage, and that'll help us meet it much quicker and much more, definitively.
I think in general we're compliant, but there's a lot of improvement that we can make.
Yeah, we just got to put some work into the process.
You know that?
What's that?
Like a minority, women, that kind of thing. A minority-owned business. And we're required to do business with them.
As far as let me get the package on the pack, we will be meeting with the SAG, the Service Advisory Group, in February. A date has not been set up yet for that, but the main gist of that meeting will be to sort of rejuvenate the Secret Shopper program, maybe recruit a few more folks, that type of thing. We gave a Title VI update, made a lot of advancement on our plan, especially as it relates to alternative languages, getting things out in Spanish and those types of things. So we're doing, I think, really well on that. Sort of tangential to that, we've got a final draft of, I think, of the new system map, which we distributed at Finance. And we'll send you out at least a PDF of that when it gets final, so you can take a look at it. But I'm pretty excited about it. I think Michelle did a great job on that. We already talked about the Myrtle Beach Transit Center. Been doing a lot of road work on meeting with funders and legislators and that type of thing. We did go to the legislative reception last night. Got in around 11:30. But it was all fine because UVA won their basketball game. I watched it on the van on the way back, but me and Daryl. But thank you, Daryl and Debbie, for taking the time out to go. It was a really good conversation in general. I talked to a lot of our reps. They were listening. I think the two biggest things that I spoke about, and you all can kind of weigh in on what you all spoke about, were the fuel tax, and that we support an increase, obviously for road improvements, but also for other transportation infrastructure, and that at the very least there ought to be a requisite increase in the amount that goes to transit, which is we need to look up the actual percentage. It's around 1% of all gas tax goes to transit. It's been level funded since 1989. We have twice the transit agencies in South Carolina since 1989, and I told a number of them, it's like I get about $300,000 to $400,000 a year from the state in state funds, and that's enough to operate 1.5 buses for a year. It's like it's a paltry sum, and they all agreed that it was paltry, but they didn't have a whole lot of solutions. most of them said that the requisite increase for transit, whatever the new number is for the highway department, the transit number ought to go up too, so. You don't wanna,
There hasn't been any changes since '89 for transit, nothing. Is that correct?
that's correct, 12 million
Right.
flat funded
I
for,
was with you, we talked to Representative Saab. Did anybody else give you more positive response? than
most
his?
everybody else did. It was,
Okay.
Sab was the only one who did not.
Ryle nodded his head yes when I talked to him, but he didn't say, well, we promised the public to be only for roads. Saab was pretty,
Yeah, he was thinking that the public was thinking just roads and bridges, but,
and we made a promise to them, it'd be very hard to go back, I think some of his words.
yeah. But the other folks I talked to were pretty receptive to it. The other things, I did have a few conversations about yellow buses, and there was just with mixed reactions, I would say. I still think that those who are opposed to it are making it about Coast RTA, which we don't want. We want to be consistent with the federal language, and it's a very vague rule. We'd like some definition, but our lawyer says that our buses are compliant with the law because they're not completely yellow. So I'm sort of opinion just to move forward
I think so.
and not.
I don't think they're gonna make any kind of decision.
Not in a month, you gotta decide in a month, right?
I need to decide in a week.
Yeah.
In fact, Michelle and I were getting into a fight. We're thinking about arm wrestling for what we're gonna do with these buses, but.
So Brian, if we move forward with the yellow scheme we have today, and then later on they say, you gotta change it, what kind of cost is that?
10,000 a bus.
I personally just don't see that happening. I spoke to so many of them last night, events and ears about the yellow issue, and they even said, or acknowledged, I said, when we were driving into town, we saw Columbia with their transit system all covered in yellow as well, so, yeah, and they agreed. They said, yeah, I don't know what the problem is with it, and, but for them to change the,
Right.
that's the issue. It's
You got a lot
just-
going on right now.
I think,
It's so minute.
But if they make the change, it won't only just, have to do with us. It has to do with all the other transit systems.
Well, and that's
why they've never want to touch anything that has to do with transit.
And so if we do want to proceed, and we haven't really made a call on that yet, but if we do want to proceed, then we probably need to bring the Transit Association into it. And last meeting I spoke to them about it. I said, look, this is my problem, but it could be your problem if the rule stays the same way. So they were all amenable, so they just let us know what you need, and we'll move forward. So
Okay.
that may be the strategy, and kind of take it out of our delegation's hands and put it across the board and see what
Right.
happens.
Because
I will tell you that Embry said, I'll introduce the legislation. He was very supportive, and we might consider going to the Senate side. I don't know, so what do you want to say?
But how long can you wait?
We're waiting about over, really.
Yeah.
Well, we need to make a decision on the new buses.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a package that has a little bit more blue.
I saw
With a significant amount of yellow, but
I saw a medium blue bus somewhere here with two yellow stripes on it.
That was one of those buses that came from the state that used, wasn't
Is that
what they
ours?
used?
That's not ours.
It's base white. Ours are white with blue and yellow stripes, so they're the cutaways.
No, yeah, I know that. No, this is blue all in the back and it had two yellow stripes. I don't think it's our buses.
Could be any better. There's a number
But it
of
looked
touring
crappy.
buses.
It looked crappy, that blue.
But it wasn't
You
ours.
didn't like the blue?
Medium blue?
That wasn't
Royal
ours.
blue, right? Because that's
No,
what
it
we've been
wasn't.
fighting about. What's the blue gonna be? But
No, this blue was like
Just
a
like a light
Wedgwood.
blue.
It was like a Wedgwood blue. You know what Wedgwood is?
Yeah, that light blue.
in 20 months of being here, this is by far the hardest decision that we've had to make. And,
I think you just
and I
have
just
to-
don't want to. We have to live with whatever we do, and so we're gonna get some outside help on some designs. What did you want to say, Michelle?
I was just going to insert that, is it Mr. Parnell who's done some workshops for us in the past?
Yes.
He was the person who would have ticketed us since his retirement.
As a DOT inspector.
There is no one in that position.
Well, I think,
So no one seems to know how it would transgress for us to either be told we have to change it or be ticketed or fined.
Nobody cares.
Because that
Yeah.
position was not filled when he retired.
And if they do pass a law that's not in favor of us, maybe we can ask them to make it effective, you know.
Yeah, we can have
one-
5 years or so
Yeah.
to make the changes.
I don't know that it would cast a law, 'cause I think there's a law already in place since 1963, already in place that says that we can't use yellow. So I don't think that there's a law being cast to say that we can't use yellow, it's already there. We're trying to get them to overturn that and say, we can use yellow, just not that school bus.
Yeah, we're trying to get, I mean, that was the simplest legislation that would make it consistent with the federal law, and that is you can't paint a bus, national school bus glossy yellow. So, from my perspective, I kind of feel like we just need to move on and do what we're doing and see just let the chips fall where they may.
Wouldn't the federal law supersede the state law?
That's the problem with just moving forward, is that you put it into the hands of the attorneys, which is never a good thing. So, no offense to the attorneys. But anyway,
Just one more question on the, and you probably would answer me, on the logo that we use, you're using specific Pantone colors? Because I just see it in some different marketing materials, it's not quite, that's
It's just the party inspiration more than
and that's a product of having a very complicated logo. But we part of our marketing plan, which we rolled out I don't know how long ago, and it's been sort of on the back burner, is we're doing a style guide and start setting rules on how you can use a logo. And Doug won't be able to wear his green shirt anymore with the logo on it. But, there's those types of things. So we're moving forward. We also talked about the, we did talk about the Martin Luther King Day. I thought it was really, really good. The DBE, we did do the DBE forum, and it wasn't nearly as well attended as I would have hoped. I heard really good things about the diversity workshop. Maybe Grace went to that, but I did, I got to see a lot of people. Benny Swan is really happy with how things are going for us, and he asked me about their next Kids and Cops thing, and I said no problem. And but it was a good event. I think it's getting bigger. They filled up some big rooms there in the convention center. Last year was at the Kennedy Center, so I think it's a good thing for us to be a part of, for sure. So
The problem with me going to where the other stuff is the parking. I mean.
it is a bit of a hoof to get to the meeting rooms.
Yeah.
There's handicap parking, but but it's still
It's
quite a
still a
ways.
ways. Well, it's not that I can't walk, it's that I don't know where I'm going,
Next time I'll meet you at the transfer center.
Yeah, we'll come.
Good.
We are a transportation company.
Okay.
Very good.
So I think that's it on, I don't know if you had anything else to add, or?
No.
Okay. So I think we're good on those reports, and do you want to go ahead and go into executive session?
Sure. I move we go into executive session for a personnel and legal matter.
Second.
Second, okay. Any discussion on it? If not, we'll have a voice vote going into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. There being none, we are going into executive session. Thank you.
So we'll give us a second to put the camera.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Executive
I
session.
move we come out of executive session.
Okay. There was nothing that we voted on. Okay.
No decision made.
No decisions
No
were
votes
made.
taken.
So, all in favor of coming out of
Second,
executive
second. No.
say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Okay, there being none, executive session is over. We can continue on. We would be going into finance committee report.
So since our last meeting, we actually had two finance committee meetings, one in December, one in January, just recently on Monday. From our December meeting, actually both meetings had a relatively similar agenda. Our December meeting looked at our November financials, we looked at a bit of an audit update, and as well as a little bit of a budget financial plan where we were with thinking about our budget revision. So you'll see again in January, we continued our discussion with the audit as well as our budget. We had a little bit on the FMO update and on December financials. Just kind of give you a sense of what we had from our December meeting, especially from our financials. We saw a little bit of an overage in salaries, vehicle maintenance, and fuel and oil. Salaries and fuel and oil sort of calmed down a little bit and came back somewhat in line. So we're good on those two. Unfortunately, our vehicle maintenance is still plaguing us a bit. So you'll see that number has crept up. And so we clearly need a budget revision primarily for that reason. But we'll look at, as Brian said, some other things as well there. So,
Yeah, if you'd like, I'll interject a few of the
Sure, absolutely.
factors going into that budget revision. I had a really good conversation with FTA. Well, I think it might have been yesterday. My calendar's broken. But it was yesterday. And we were able to work out a sort of a strategy moving forward. There's one strategy related to the FMO as it relates to the ADA reimbursement that we took advantage of, but didn't have it set up in the grant correctly. That grant, which is the one before the current one, is at $0. We spent it all the way down, and they're itching to close it. But if you all remember in the FMO report, we responded to that finding by saying we would like to amend that grant to basically reflect what actually happened. Because it's a provision that we're allowed to take, we just did the paperwork incorrectly. And the two that I spoke to yesterday really couldn't make a call on that. I actually have another call with FTA this afternoon. But I was talking with Ron, and we're like, the three things that they've come back to us on the FMO have been that 3-day rule, the timesheet/time clock issue, and what was the third one? Spacing on it.
Okay, you get the time clock, the 3-day rule, and the ADA. No.
the grant number.
There's 6 assets. Was the other one?
Oh.
And how?
Yeah,
Those are the-
rubber stamping one, most rates of reconciliation.
Well, no, it was the whole issue of. I was questioning the language. It was a semantic argument on that one, so there's no real issue. We are editing 3 of our responses for them. Okay, I've already sent the edits to the consultant to get them to weigh in on it. But one of the ones that they did not say anything about was this ADA thing. FTA has reviewed this, so I'm assuming they're going to be okay.
What number is it?
This is on. This is the last thing in your packet. Number 11.
Number 11.
No, that's the
That's
3. Number 10.
Their last item in your packet.
So basically, we're saying that.
Oh, yeah, we looked at this.
Right, so we want to amend that grant. And so FTA did not kick back any issues with that particular finding. So by virtue of that, and I'll verify that today in a phone call, we should be able to get that correct. So anyway, the strategy is I need to do an amendment in our current grant for this ADA, and they want me to put the Myrtle Beach Transit Center and the bus stop designation programs in that amendment. So just one grant going in, moving forward. It's all 5307 urban formula money, and we'll get that approved hopefully over the next couple of weeks. And then the other grant that we're working on is the facility feasibility study, and that's going to be in a separate grant because it's using SDP flex money. It's a different funding source. And so, but that's good that what could have been 4 grants and an amendment is turned into 2 grants, an amendment and a new grant. So that was good. The other factor on the budget, so getting all that straight is going to help us figure out what our budget needs to be. I'm also going to try for an amendment to our preventive maintenance program in that grant because of these overages on maintenance, and try to alleviate some of those issues that we have in the budget. The question there is, can you do that? They're real picky about how you deal with preventive maintenance and period performance and those types of things in the grant, but that'll be another part of that amendment, hopefully.
What about these? Go ahead.
Well, the biggest factor in the budget revision, and the reason why you don't have a budget revision in front of you this one, is I'm waiting for the state to make a call on this additional bus money that we've asked for, where we want to put our 4 buses into one grant. And they haven't made one yet. But I'm hopeful that they will come up with another $640,000, which we will have a match, and we can just do one grant. So if they wait too much longer, I'm going to try to press and try to get a decision by the end of January on that. If they wait beyond that, then I'm going to punt and do another 5307 or 5339 grant, which is capital bus and bus facilities, and do 2 buses there and 2 buses on the existing grant that we have with the state. So we'll just split them up. So have a backup plan if the state doesn't come through with the money. Next factor, they've given us how much money we're getting in 5311, the rural program, and it's $6,000 less than what we got last year.
6,000.
I was really hoping that it was going to be, a nice little bump in there for the rural program. So I got to think about how we're going to deal with that. It is what it is. They did say that there is another $420,000 in future bus purchases coming with that. And they haven't given us the state amounts yet, how much state funding we're getting. So, like I said, there's a lot of factors going into this, much more complicated than just fixing our maintenance line item, which is really the main thing in the budget, as Marvin said, that's really the big kicker.
I heard you right yesterday, the feds give us money in South Carolina, then they rip off the top hundreds of thousands of dollars when they give it to us, right?
Yes, they do. Well, they do take their 10% or whatever it is for administration of the program, 5311. By the same token, we give up 5% to the MPO for 5307. So it happens on both. It's a common
Charge
occurrence.
North Carolina.
Well, how soon are they gonna
Well,
let us
they're getting
know?
charged for that too.
We have a charge.
Yeah.
How soon before they'll let us know?
I'm hopeful by January, but they move glacially.
Oh, next.
So
What if
by the
they,
end of no, by the end of this January.
What if
Oh,
they,
that's January. Oh.
what if they allow
Next
us,
10 days or
Oh.
7 days.
what if they allow us to combine the grants and we use that 5339 money for other capital?
See, in the budget, in the existing budget, we have I think we have 3 buses in there right now. I can look, but I don't have it in front of me. And those 2 from the grant that the state gave us, the $950,000, and 1 from 5339. And then we were going to also put in for a couple of cutaways, longer cutaways. So right now, the longer cutaways are off the table for the time being until we figure out what the state's going to do, so that we can fund these 4 buses. I think those are more important to get.
And where's the funding for the 4th one coming from? That's all.
5339.
That's-
We have 640,000 in 5339. So I'll just use it for those, all of those buses, and then whatever the state may come up with, we'll use for cutaways and other things, and maybe even a 5th bus.
How about those capital assets of that machinery in the back room there? Have we ever got a buyer or a bidder?
Well, no, pieces of it were going on to gov deals when we get this next batch of buses on gov deals. We've got a ton of buses back there that we haven't gotten on gov deals yet because we were waiting on a letter from FTA. We've gotten the letter, so they may even be up today. I don't know. So we're hopefully getting rid of a good bulk of that stuff through gov deals, and there will be an equity payoff on that. We won't get out of them what we paid for them. Which reminds me, we've got another grant that needs to go into FTA to solve the $130,000 for the old opuses and fare boxes. That we've got to do that this year as well. But they've asked me to give my priority. So my priority is going to be this amendment, and then it's going to be the feasibility study, and then it'll be this other stuff.
Go from one study to the next.
Yeah.
Well,
It's good that you're on top of it.
I mean, I say the study, that's more than just a study, that's actually getting signs out there, so. And the state did agree to give us another $80,000 for the bus stop analysis, so. And it's planning money, so I'm gonna use that for the database and the development of the procedures and the policies that we're asking for in that RFP.
How long is it gonna be before that signage is up?
Well, we had our pre-proposal meeting for those, and I basically said I want 10 up by June 1st.
Wow. Well, did you have
So-
any attendance at the meeting?
We had AECom and we had
I'll call you back.
several DBs. So I'm hopeful that we get another big player in there, just in the interest of competition. But I think one of the DBs wants to prime it, so we'll see what he can come up with.
Prime, what is that?
Be the lead consultant on the job. So we'll see how that works.
And the AECom is URS?
Yeah, it's the old URS.
Is there a minority with it?
AECom? No, AECom has 100,000 employees. So, and then it was a merger of two equally sized companies. So, but it's my old group.
URS
So
and the old.
I am out of the decision-making process for that very reason. So,
Okay, well, that's progress.
yeah. So budget revision, hopefully we get something to you in Finance Committee next month, at least the beginnings of it. You know, we need to be quick about it, but I don't want to be too much in a hurry. I really do want the state to come through, and that has a lot of trickle-down effects on where we're putting our local match and that type of thing.
So, Mark, the 1 March board meeting is probably we will be presenting the budget revision.
Yes,
That's your best guess?
yes.
June sounds a little bit iffy, I don't know, I mean, that's an awful lot to ask. June is coming.
I venture a guess that there are 10 locations out there where we'll have no issues putting up a sign. They can find them.
Good, that's great, great.
So one or two of them might be attached to a shelter.
Great,
But
okay.
I just want to get signs out there.
Yeah, get that ball rolling downhill a little bit.
Start showing some progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing, we want to see something on the street.
Yeah. Okay, so from the audit, I think we're well on the way of we're looking for some letters from debtors and creditors, and that
Yeah,
should be
just-
wrapped up.
Yeah, just from a scheduling perspective, just to give everybody notification, I think we should be getting the report sometime between now and Finance Committee in February. And I think what we'd like to do, I don't know if I bounce this off, is I would like the auditor to come to Finance Committee
Yeah, you said that in the last meeting.
and answer questions. And so if you have any interest in what's going on with the audit and you want to ask questions of the auditor directly, you need to come to Finance Committee.
What's the date of that? February 13th.
It's pushed a week, it's the 22nd, because
Oh,
the
yes,
board
right,
meeting is
right.
the 1st, so thank you. So 10 a.m.
Our last one was an hour, so less than an hour. This one though, probably, we have 2 big things on there to just kind of.
Yeah, we'll,
review the budget and then obviously the presentation.
Unless Sid is quarantined, we'll make it really fast.
22nd?
Yes, ma'am, I think it's at 10 a.m.
Yes.
That's what we have on the website. So,
Audit.
so I think the audit is going pretty well in general. We may get hit on the ADA thing again, although if I can get a resolution from FDA, then
Yeah, that would help
maybe
a lot.
we'll let one off.
That would be huge.
It's like, it sucks getting hit twice for the same mistake. And then, as I mentioned before, in FMO, we've only edited 3 items, and we will be changing this letter. I'll forward it to you when it gets changed. We're basically agreeing to implement a procedure on the 3-day rule, which, you know, we gotta pick our fights, right?
You know about transportation committee meeting? I saw it on the calendar.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything for February. Is it late February?
I think
The
it's
13th.
I did get a,
yeah, 13, yeah, something like
I
that.
did get an email from them about, they want everything in, that you want to present 2 weeks in advance. And so we won't have anything ready for them for that meeting. So we'll try to shoot for something in March, and I'll certainly try to have another conversation with both Chris and Mark Lazarus about, you know,
The
what we're doing
13th,
on budget.
13th, Monday the 13th at 9.
Yeah, so I think I've missed the deadline for,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but
so it'll be Friday.
and it might even change. But
The day sometimes.
yeah, but on the website, on the county website, that's the date and time.
All right, that's all I have for finance committee report. If there's any questions.
Yeah, and As far as manager's report, I think I covered all my bullet items here in finance. So I'll say we don't need to do
We got the
a
resolution.
separate. Yep.
Old business?
Can I, one comment, with Ron's still here, we talking about color scheme of the buses, you and I talked about your, maybe a darker blue, you and the short. If I look at Ron's shirt, I see the dark blue background with our.
Pops, doesn't it?
It does pop out.
Thank you, Mr. That's a point in favor. Michelle likes the royal blue,
You mean like your car?
like the Ford.
But look at his shirt
Yeah,
though.
like that.
Our,
Like
our
that.
logo jumps out at you with that dark blue background, it really does.
Yeah, yeah.
You're looking at Ron jumping at it. Anything he wore would jump.
We could bring Kevin.
He drinks too many
You
Cokes.
should see when he gets worked up about audit things, the thing moves.
Yeah, as you starts pulsing.
So,
Oh, my.
Okay, going into new business. Any announcements?
I'm selling tickets.
Or,
For your fashion show?
Uh-huh.
will you move to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Move-
Pass
meeting
it
adjourned.
around, okay? I mean, the